Nisha Podar, and with me is my co-anchor Sonia Shenoy. And let's begin with the markets, Sonia. And yes, yesterday was a bad day for the markets. There was a lot of nervousness. But today is a day of slight bit of relief. Even though the market has been trying to really defend that 17,000 mark, we have seen a dip below the 17,000 mark today in the trading session. But at lunchtime, there is a little bit of refueling that we are seeing at this point. So yes, a certain bit of recap in terms of recouping in terms of the positions over 17,000. 67 points gain. Sensex at the moment gaining about 240 points. Bank Nifty is on the flat line, is hugely underperforming the key indices today, while the mid caps also in line with the key indices in the green. Advanced decline ratio because of the mid cap participation is also stable in favor of the advances. Big boy Reliance Industries recovery in the middle of the day really helped lift the sentiment on the key indices as well, Sonia.
Absolutely. And, I think the overarching theme, Nisha, is that this market is resilient, right? It's holding on to the 200-day moving average of 16,990. Despite such a sharp fall across the globe, the Nifty is not giving up on 17,000. Just goes to show that perhaps, maybe not decoupling, but perhaps at least not falling as badly as global peers is something that the market is, focusing on. Of course, the big event to watch is the RBI policy on Friday, and there's an expectation once again of a 50 basis points rate hike. So I think the market will be in wait and watch mode ahead of that event. But let's talk about some stocks now. Mahindra Logistics is buzzing in trade as the company bought Rivigo's B2B Express business. Mangalam is here with the details. Mangalam.
Well, that's correct. So there has been a positive development in Mahindra Logistics. The stock sitting with a gain of almost 3%, mildly off highs with the market. But remember, they've gone ahead and made an acquisition. Rivigo's B2B business is what they've bought for about 225 crores. Remember, Rivigo is the company that pioneered the relay logistics service. They had two arms, that was full truckload logistics as well as B2B. And in that, Mahindra has gone ahead and bought the B2B vertical. The B2B business in FY22 did revenues of around 371 crores. Of course, much higher than what we saw in FY21, but lower than what we saw in FY20. FY20 was an exceptional year for online commerce as well because of the pandemic. But importantly, Mahindra Logistics' own revenues in last year were over 4,000 crores, and in the first quarter itself was around 1,200 odd crores. So this incrementally adds about no more than 8 to 9% to their overall revenue. The bigger trigger, however, here will be the kind of leveraging that these guys can do with Rivigo's network of 250 plus processing centers, 1,000,015 square feet of land, or the warehousing area that Rivigo has. So even if they go ahead and do about 6 to 7% margins on this 371 crore revenue that Rivigo has done, it would be accretive for their return on cash, because it would mean about 10% on the 225 crores that they are deploying. The question, however, is how much can they scale up this business with their existing ecosystem.
All right, Mangalam, thanks so much for getting us all those important details. Moving on to another important clarification, which first was here on CNBC TV 18, and now the Power Ministry has also clarified to us that REC will continue to remain owned by the Power Finance Corporation, or PFC, of India, and this after the government rejected the proposal for Power Grid picking up a majority stake in REC. Vivek, my colleague, here with more details. Vivek.
Well, absolutely right. For the past few trading sessions, there was quite a bit of uncertainty regarding, the stake of PFC as far as REC is concerned. A couple of news reports had indicated that Power Grid may be asked to take over the stake of PFC in REC, and this uncertainty had led to significant selling pressure as far as Power Grid is concerned. Significant market cap was eroded on the back of this development. What was it that market was pricing in, and what was it that market was worried about? Number one, capital allocation policy that came under question. Number two, the dividend yield of the stock, healthy at 6% currently. There was worried that it would drop to 4%. And number three, if you're talking about the entire valuation multiple, markets were worried that there would be a derating in this particular, if this particular development came to fruition. However, the Power Ministers to CNBC TV 18 actually clarified, saying that, the government has decided that REC will continue to be a PFC-owned entity. So this particular overhang on Power Grid got removed, which is why today you're seeing Power Grid stock, breathing a sigh of relief. Citi has reacted to this particular development. Citi has said that the removal of this overhang is quite a positive development. They believe that Power Grid continues to remain one of their top buys. They believe that high ROEs and the company being a very strong player as far as the transmission space in India gives it quite a positive rub-off effect.
Okay, in fact, let's listen in to what the management has of REC had to say.
PFC acquired REC stake, what the government was holding, I think, in 2018 December. And after that, overall, REC has been functioning as a subsidiary of PFC. However, government was having direct control on REC. And in the meanwhile, there were options that were explored in terms of who else could be suited for REC. But in balance of things, I think yesterday Ministry of Power took a call that status quo would be maintained. Q2 is I think would be better than what Q1 was, and full year I think it's difficult to give a guidance, but then it should be much better than the last financial year as a whole.
Okay, well, Nazara Technologies is the other stock. It's been losing out in trade after the Tamil Nadu government has approved an ordinance to ban online gaming in the state. Vahishta tells us more. Vahishta, over to you.
Hi, thanks for that. Well, that's right. Tamil Nadu cabinet has approved an ordinance to ban online gaming, and the reason that they are stating is that the teenagers and adults were losing their entire earnings and savings in these online betting games. Also, for example, now though Rummy might be a game of skill, the game using stakes will be considered as gambling. Now, we also know that Nazara Tech and many other players are looking at expanding their presence in the online gaming space, which at present is at a very nascent stage in the country. We know that India's online gaming industry has been under the scanner since quite some time and undergoes frequent changes in regulations and in taxations. For example, the GST changes that we have seen. Now, many of these bans were challenged by skill gaming startups and the industry associations in their respective state courts, which overturned these suspensions. Now, the Supreme Court had also upheld the fantasy game as a game of skill in last year, that is in July 2021. States like Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka have sought to prohibit these game of skills. Back to you.
All right, Vahishta, thanks so much for all those important details. And yes, the controversy, or at least that debate between online gaming being really betting or a game of skill really continues. But Tamil Nadu has taken the lead in banning it, and let's see where the debate really lands. With that, we'll slip into a short breather quickly on Business Lunch. But currencies across the world correct as